I'll turn the music off. Alright, so I was working for a company, and I was basically being the designated driver. We were working out of town, which is a whole another story. He was trying to give people $100 and they wouldn't take it. It's not fun. But, so it was late, we were leaving, and we were heading back to the hotel, and we're kind of starting to talk about, it's like, should we stop and get something to eat? And off to the side, I see a sign for KFC. So I see the sign, and he's asking, he's like, hey, what do you want to eat? And I was just like, how about some fried chicken? And he goes, what? And then my brain just realized I just told this big black man to eat some fried chicken. So then I was like, since it's, right down there, I figured we'd get some KFC. And then he looks at me, and he goes, spicy or original? And I knew this was the deciding factor of what I say. I had to be very careful of my choice. Because if I chose wrong, it would have been a huge, huge possible mess. So I picked my answer carefully. And I answered honestly. And I said, spicy. And he looks at me and goes, man. And then we went and got KFC. That's the story. And that's the story of how I told a black man eat some fried chicken. There's also a time I told a black woman to drink some purple soda. Some grape soda. Which is a very similar situation. So I was working on location again. We were in the Capitol. And I'll usually go on a bender, and I'll have, a lot of times, a certain kind of drink for a good while. One of these times, because before I would do it was like, here's, I'm going to drink nothing but basically squirt for, a year or potentially 2. That's basically my go-to drink, unless they don't have, like a restaurant doesn't have it or something. Or the store's out, then I'll make a different decision. But for the most part, it's like, okay, here's a 2-liter bottle of squirt, I'm going to be drinking squirt. One of these times was a drink called Sunkiss. And there was only one flavor that I have ever seen of Sunkiss. And that flavor was orange. So for the longest time, I drank orange soda. Now, I did not know about any other flavor existing. If they did exist before that time, I was unaware. They didn't sell it where I lived. So at this time, we're on our lunch break, and we see a Wendy's. When we decide, hey, we'll go to Wendy's. And as we're getting our food, I get my order first, and I'm going over there, and I'm heading to the drink fountain. And then I see Sunkiss. I was like, that label is in orange. And I remember it's like, I used to love Sunkiss. I drank Sunkiss nonstop. I drank it religiously for like 2 years. Actually, it's been 2 years. I drank it religiously. And I'm still sitting there gawking at this mysterious flavor of purple grape, Sunkiss, that I've never seen before. I was like, should I get it? I don't know. I mean, it's not the typical orange, but it'd be nice to have Sunkiss again. What if it's good? Maybe it's going to be great. And as I'm doing this, my other female black coworker comes up, and then she goes, what should I get? I go, what about this grape Sunkiss? Immediately, she looks at me and goes, what? And still in my excitement, because it didn't even register what I said, that I just told this black woman to drink some grape soda. I'm still like, I've never seen grape before! And then she just registered that I'm just retarded, so then she got her drink, I think she got tea, and then went to the table, and I got myself that grape Sunkiss, and it was a delicious drink. And that was the time I told a black man to eat some fried chicken, and I told a black woman to drink some grape soda. And they haven't canceled me yet. Why is this not updating? Well, Goose, I hope you saw that. There it goes. I did not want to update for whatever reason. So I hope you enjoyed that, Goose. That's the story. Now that you have the context. I guess since I'm here, I'll rant about my very bad, horrible, awful day, Thursday. Which was just god-awful. And was a whole day affair. So it started off, I woke up, I overslept. My alarm apparently was not set for AM. Very rarely do I make that mistake, and I normally will have multiple alarms. I decided I was going to sleep in a little bit. I was like, yeah, I can do this. I'll sleep in a little bit. I'll go, 30 minutes instead of the hour I normally do. And it's like, okay, sure, that's no problem. I can do that handle, no problem. It's only an hour away for work. I'll be fine. Of course, we got some scratching now going on. I'll wait, Mochi. Okay, I think she's done. She's not done. We'll wait. I don't even know if that's picking up on the mic either. Mochi! Okay, she's out. So, first off, I woke... So firstly, I woke up late, which was already not good. I was already behind. Well, this was nothing intentional. This is just me being excited about flavors. That's what that was about. So I woke up late, overslept. I basically woke up on my you need to go to the car alarm. It's time to leave alarm, not the wake up alarm. So I was like, I had to quickly take my shower. I was behind schedule. I was basically going to be almost 20 minutes late. So I finally get there. I'm getting stuck in traffic. There's fog everywhere. There is zero visibility. I might as well just had a white sheet of paper in front of me because you couldn't see anything. I managed to get there. I hurry out of my car. And then I go to the trunk to start to try to open doors. And the doors do not open. And I'm like, well, shit, okay. I guess the the driver's side door is still open. So that's an easy fix. Easy fix. I just unlock everything because it'll do that if just the driver's side door is unlocked. It won't unlock anything else with the key. So I go to open up the driver's side door and nothing. The driver's side door is locked. I reach for my keys and they're not there. And I go, oh no, I left the keys in the car. That's annoying, but no big deal. Because I keep a spare, because my car, like a lot of newer cars, not even newer cars, like within the last 10 years, any of the cars that have the key fobs that you don't actually have to put into an ignition slot, have a little bitty key inside of the key fob that you then have to pull the door open and then jam basically just a key end of a key. There's no back end, basically. It's just the key part itself with a little bitty nub for you to try to push and turn it. And then that will unlock the car if you do not have... If the key fob isn't working for whatever reason. Obviously, if the keys ever got locked in the car, it would not be a good thing to keep that little key in the key fob. So where I kept it was in my wallet and a sealed pouch. Why is the sealed pouch important? Because when I open my wallet, I get it out, flip open that sealed pouch, unbutton it, and there's no key. There are rings, but there is no key. I now have a problem. So I'm locked out of my car with my photo equipment in the car. I'm already late. On top of that, I now have to go call Papa Lock to unlock my door before I can get started to unload. This was already not fun. I was already having a bad day to begin with, and this just got worse. Thankfully, I was not the only photographer working in that job. I was the third, so 2 other people were able to keep going while I was waiting. Over an hour I'm waiting for Papa Lock to come over and help me. It is a very, very shitty situation, but it gets worse. Kind of. This part is the worst part. So I finally get to, the Papa Lock finally shows up after like an hour. Over an hour, actually. Because after he called me saying, hey, I got done with my last job, it's going to be 20 minutes. It may have actually been close to 2 hours. He finally shows up. I didn't have to pay him, of course. $260 something I had to pay for that Papa Lock service for him to unlock my car. Situation just got worse. Fun. I get the information, I send it off so that way I can go to the insurance so I can try to get something back. I might be able to get at least $100 back. Maybe. A big maybe. So I go in, I finally get set up. I get stuck with basically the most awful kids. Basically the youngest that have the biggest kind of stranger danger that you can imagine, that are going to panic the second you set them down somewhere. So that's what I had to deal with, trying to calm down that lot, while my coworkers were getting the older ones, which was just great. I'm glad that was what it was. Not me needing the older one so I can then try to catch up the gap that I lost. So that was annoying, but manageable. As we're almost done with the day, I get a ding from my phone. I'm like, okay, well, I'm waiting for the next class to come in. Let me go ahead and check that message and see what it says. It says, your medical bills are due now. Because I went to go see the doctor for this tension headache that I've had from so much stress that I've been under. $170 something for that. So within the span of a couple hours, I spent almost $500, and I have basically nothing to show for it. So that was very frustrating. After that, the day started to cool off for a little bit. I managed to take a little bit of a nap. Woke up with a killer headache. As I start to stream, another good fun thing happened. They start doing construction outside my house in the middle of the night, tearing up the road. So throughout the night, I'm basically hearing the scraping of roads for the majority of my night last night. So that was just another cherry on top to end the day. Thankfully, Friday was fairly easy. It was all right. Nothing bad there. Day went pretty fucking smooth, which is why I'm telling the story today. And that was my bad, very awful, horrible day of spending $500 something. And I still have to pay more money soon for car stuff. More fun. So all of that was just horrible. I mean, almost as bad as the other very bad, horrible, awful day that I was having when my phone shattered, which is where this tension headache began. With the most unhelpful AT&T guy I've ever met, who could have actually helped me. He actually could have, but he just wanted to be a fucking jackass. I'm angry now. I'm spicy. I'm spicy. So, on my phone, as I was unloading stuff, took a tumble out of my pocket, because I had a loose pocket, and it landed in just the right way to shatter the screen. Just, this is a problem. I work on locations, which means I need my GPS, and I basically need my work app so I can get those locations and the information I need. I lost access to it. Well, I'm glad you're liking it. It was very frustrating for me. So, I managed to get a hold of some people because I was able to connect it to my car and still be able to make calls. So I managed to make some phone calls, get the address I need emailed to me so then I can use my work laptop so I can get that address. And thankfully, since it was still connecting to my car, I was able to use the GPS. I just had to type it in manually. I'll get that in a minute. I don't even know what that means. So I go through the workday. It goes okay. I'm like, I just need to get to an AT&T. Because that's our fucking provider, AT&T. I managed, thankfully, where I was working did not have a lot of twists and turns, and I just need to get to the highway and go straight. And I was going to be able to get back home. I get to the AT&T back home. It's the and symbol, the whoop. It's just the symbol for and. That's what an ampersand is. So I get to the AT&T, I get in there. I'm trying to stay calm because, oh yeah, I left this part out. When I got into my car, I plug in my phone to try to use the GPS. And it's not connecting anymore. I can't charge it. I can't connect it for the map on my phone through the car because it would go connect and use Google Maps. Can't use that anymore. I'm completely GPS-less in a GPS world. So I managed to be able to, again, look up on my work laptop, which I couldn't use GPS. I couldn't use like a live GPS. I could pull up a map. That was about it. And I thought, okay, if I follow this road and then make a left over here, then I can get to the highway, go straight. So I managed to still, it was a stressful situation. And if I ever had to deviate, thankfully I didn't. I managed to just be able to stay straight and get back home. So I get to that AT&T, walk in there, I'm like, hey, I have a real problem and I need some help. Show him the phone and he's like, oh yeah, so you want to buy a new one? I'm like, I would like to see if it can be fixed. I was like, oh, we don't do that. We don't do that here. And it's like, okay, well, would the other AT&T be able to? Well, you're gonna have to like call your insurance and deal with that, but we can't help you. Like the closest one that could is in Weatherford, a completely different city, by the way. How you doing, Carlos? A completely different city, by the way, that is over 30 minutes away without a GPS. So I'm looking at it, I was like, oh, well, how am I supposed to get there? I don't know how to get there. And then he's like, go on this road, take a right, and then you're going to go down. It's like, great. I'm so glad you told me a random road that is somewhere in this city for me to find. Great fucking directions. So I managed to pull out my laptop and I'm like, okay, I can't get live directions again, so let me try to do what I did earlier. And I basically left the whole AT&T because I was about to blow a gasket. I do my best to try to stay calm, but I was about to lose it. And I don't know what I was going to say. But he was the most basically wasteful piece of shit I've ever met in an AT&T. They are some of the most unhelpful people I've ever met. So, I managed to get it, and I realized, oh, I know the city now. I've worked in this city. And so I know kind of where I need to go. And not dealing with his street name, I know my own way to get there that is close to home. Closer to home. I was in the city of home. I wasn't home yet. But there's another road that'll go here, and then follow that down, and then I can get to a highway. I just might have more stop signs to deal with. So I get down there, I finally get to it, and I get up there, and finally I get some people who are actually trying to help me. Thank fuck that is happening. And so we get through it, and I was told that I was going to be I'm trying to think of the word of it. Basically one of the primary account holders who can basically initiate decisions and whatnot, because I have a family account. So there's multiple people on the plan. I was not one of the primary individuals. So we had to try to contact someone in my family who was not answering, who made herself the sole benefactor of that account. Thankfully, my screen was shattered, by the way. It wasn't working, but occasionally the screen would show up. Sometimes I do because I need to try to get my thoughts, because sometimes I'll jump ahead, which is not fun. So I'll have pauses as I try to gather my thoughts and figure out how I'm going to word something. So there's a couple seconds where sometimes it would show up. And the person who was trying to help me is like, well, shit. Well, we can't reach the person. What are we going to do? Because we need to do that to initiate this kind of claim thing. She manages to get it just to stay long enough where she can get a text message to get a temporary access code for the account. So she gets in there and she's able to do the claim. And I'm like, oh, thank God. We're able to actually get this claim going. And then she's like, okay, well, we got in here. Unfortunately, we can't help you here, but, and she gave me an iPad. She gave me an iPad or some kind of tablet to use. I'm pretty sure it was an iPad for that insurance claim stuff. And she was like, okay, so we don't have the parts here to fix it, but if you tap down there, and she told me, it's like, we have locations who are affiliated with the insurance that you have. So if you click there, we can see who is the closest one to be able to fix it. And thankfully, the place that was able to fix it is right down the road, just across the street. I just had to cross the highway. And great. We were able to just go over there. I get in there. Mind you, this was also after working. So I drove over an hour to get to work. Drove over an hour to get home. To then drive over 30 minutes to get to this place in a different city. And as I walk in there, I go in there, I'm like, oh good, it's slow, there's nothing really going on, so hopefully it'll be relatively quick. She apparently had 2 other issues situations that she had to deal with before mine. I'm told that I have a wait time of 3 hours. Well, shit. I'm already exhausted, so now I have to sit in this place for 3 damn hours waiting for this phone to be fixed. I can't go home because she cannot call me and tell me if it's fixed. So I have to now sit here in this uncomfortable chair for 3 fucking hours as I wait for her to finish these other phones and then get to my phone to fix it. Thankfully, though, by the end of the day, the goddamn phone is fixed. I'm able to get home, and I just fucking sleep. I don't even think I streamed that day. I just slept because I was just like, I can't. And then after that day, I had a pain in my head for weeks on end, and it still shows up now, right above my left eye, of a tension headache. Resume. So then those are just some of the work season. This has been my work season. On top of a death in the family, families fucking fighting, and now lawyers are getting involved. That's a whole nother situation, but you don't need to hear about that. So that's been my last few months. I hope everyone liked my the cone rant of my bad, awful, horrible days that I've had recently. And fuck that guy from AT&T. Now I will go ahead and take questions or requests. Maybe I can rant about something else. The only good thing is I got some good pain meds from the doc. That's the only benefit to all this that I haven't taken in several days, because the pain was starting to go away until that bad, awful, horrible day, and everything is back with a vengeance. I'm glad you liked it, Goose. Whew. Where's my drink? Right in front of me. I need like a drink thing right here, so I go. I'm not sure what else I'm going to rant about. I can't think of any good, funny stories. I could rant about work. Because that's been a nightmare with the office pissing everyone off. But you guys aren't going to care about that, because that's very technical. Not even technical. Assholes in the office never touched anything technical their whole life. Oh, speaking of technical, I had a fun tech support. Where are my hands going? What? Hey. The hell? Hey. Alright, so speaking of technical, I had to call tech support to replace some parts. You're a smart shooter. So I had to call... you're smart too, Goose. Technical doesn't mean smart. But technical is sometimes something you might need to have a certain kind of knowledge in, depending on which technical you're dealing with. So I had to replace some parts because I had broken 2 light receivers. And what that is you have a main transmitter on your camera, and you have 2 receivers on your lights to make them flash, so that way you don't have to have them going off slave. That gives you more accurate pulses of light, essentially. Accurate flashes that go right when the shutter does. Going at the speed of light. So I had to get those replaced. And the company has been trying to go cheap. And they found 2 new receivers, which are cheaper models of the ones that we were using, called Pocket Wizard X. We were using the Pocket Wizard 3 and the 3E, which the 3E was its own problem, because people don't know how to read. And I had to solve the problem for everyone. So I'm calling them, and what I noticed about the X's from other coworkers is there is no option to change it from transmit to receive. So if I broke the Pocket Wizard I'm using now, I would be in big trouble if these things do not transmit. So as I am asking these questions, The lady on the phone, she managed to solve the problem really quickly because I just need a replacement. That's an easy fix. I go in there and I'm like, okay, well, I have some questions now. So, here's the situation. I have worked with other people. Again, I just explained this to you guys. Essentially, I said the same thing. I have not seen a transmitter receiver. Is it already set up to do both? And she goes, well, I'm not sure which ones you're going to get. You should be getting the newer ones. I was like, okay, is that going to be the X or the 3Es? I don't know, is what she responded with. I'm like, okay. But so if I do get the X's, is this going to be the situation? And I think it does both. If it doesn't, I mean, you can call us back, but I'm not much of a tech savvy person. That is not what I want to hear from my technical support, is that they are not a tech savvy person. They should at least have the knowledge of the technology that they're dealing with at a base minimum. And that's my technical support rant. Not as fun as the other rants that I just did. But that popped into my head that I wanted to rant about. So yeah, this stream has turned into a rant stream. Nick's missed it. He's missing all that fun. He loves it when I rant. She's eating kibble. Now then, is there any game suggestions?